I know my chance with her is blown, but my mouth gets carried away. I'm tongue-tied, tongue-tied, tongue-tied.
What up, IDS Mob? HarryWilmington here, and today we're answering the question, does your texting strategy work on girls of different nationalities? So, there's a person that left a response to my video where I said, do this to make her initiate most texts. Because ideally, once you've built up a woman's interest to a high enough level, they're gonna probably be doing 70 to 80% of the texting and calling. And this is where you actually want it to be, because you reaching out consistently to her or initiating those first texts every single time, it puts you in the position of being like not quite the leader of the relationship. And so we want to build at the level, because women like you, they can't help but want to be around you, and they're going to do everything they can to make sure that you like them, including texting and calling you all the time. So I had a guy that left a response and had a question about if this same strategy applies to women of a different nationality. So we'll get into that. As always, guys, if you want to sign up for coaching, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com and click on the coaching tab. Or if you want one of your questions answered in one of these videos, you can write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment down below, all right? Also go to the website to check out my Introvert Dating Success Membership Academy. So let's get into this guy's question. So he says, great video, just one question. Does the same apply when speaking to a woman of a different nationality with English not being the first language? I would guess they would struggle even more to initiate a text, especially her also being introverted. Would they still be reaching out anyways if interested enough? So the short answer is, well, I'll answer the second question. The answer is yes. Like, I do think that men think if a woman's introverted or shy, that she's not gonna reach out as much. And I have found that's a bold-faced lie, because regardless of whether the woman's introverted or whether she's extroverted, the reality is that there's not enough men that come along in women's lifetimes that they feel themselves really connecting with or having chemistry with or gelling with or is making them feel all the feels. So when that kind of guy comes along, women cannot help but let those guys know unequivocally that they like them. I just did a whole show recently about all these, I gave examples of how all these women met these guys in these very situations, and then the guy didn't ask for the number, and the woman was like darn near yelling at them saying, hey, you should have taken my number, take my number here, this is net, and now they're like either married or in a relationship with these guys. So don't let the mask of this woman being introverted or shy make you think that that means that her attitude's gonna change as far as wanting to show a guy that she really likes that she's interested, okay? But to the first point, this is where it gets interesting, because the thought process is, he's saying, you know, would they struggle to initiate a text, or would it be hard for them to do that if they don't speak English? And my response to that is, regardless of what part of the world that they're from or where you're trying to date, texting kills attraction. And the ultimate goal is not to be on the phone in the first place. The ultimate goal is to try to see this woman in person as much as possible. So you shouldn't even be texting a whole lot. Like, you should be texting her specifically to try to get the date, and that's it. So in terms of women that can't speak English texting you, that's not really what you should be focusing on, because you can't use a woman's level of texting as a barometer for how highly interested she is. Because you could have a woman that texts you all day long but won't accept a date from you, you know, versus a woman that only texts, you know, once in a while, but every time you ask for a date, she's saying yes, she's there, she's not flaking, she's really heavily interested, she's giving you regular hookups when you guys do go on dates and stuff like that. And so this whole idea of like, but should she be initiating a text? Like, for one, if you know that English is not her first language, then why would you want to judge her on whether or not she's texting you, knowing that English is not her first language and knowing that it's going to be a lot harder for her to do that? So you don't do that. Ideally, if she's having a hard time, because some people are good at, like, they can speak the language okay, but maybe they can't read the language as well. So you could be sending her text and she's like, I don't know what this means. Versus if she hears you talking, she might get it. So whatever form of communication you find is the most helpful to her in being able to understand you, that's the one you're going to use. So in this case, if you find that maybe she doesn't read your text well, but she can understand when you're saying certain things, then it's either phone calls or asking her out in person, okay? But for most of you guys, you really need to let this whole texting thing go. Like, as a 41-year-old man, I have still been able to date women that are in their mid-20s, early 30s, and not have to go on a texting spree to get them attracted or interested, okay? So stop using texting as a crutch to attract women, and recognize ultimately it boils down to what you're doing with them in person, okay? Try to have as many interactions with them in person. Try to set up more times where you can see them face to face, even if it means you have to FaceTime them to ask for these dates. But I wouldn't worry so much about them texting you. Now, all that said, if you have a woman that's like liking you so much that she's willing to learn English better to text you more, then that's definitely a very highly interested woman. But I would not judge a woman on how much she's texting you as an indicator of interest. I just wouldn't. That's just not how I run my life. I find there are plenty of women that I've dated that they are highly interested and they only text when I text them, and I'm only texting them for dates, so that saves me a lot of time. But surprise, surprise, women that like you can hold their interest for you for like 4, 5, or 6 days in a row, even when you're not texting them, because they just want to see you in person and they just want to be around you whenever they can, all right? So don't fall for the lie that you got to be texting them all the time or that they're going to try to text you every single time as a means to gauge their interest. So hopefully that helps out. I don't think this needs to be a long video, it's like 5 minutes, but hopefully that helps you out. So if you have any other questions you guys like to ask me, like I said, you can write me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. Leave a comment down below, or sign up for one-on-one coaching by clicking on the coaching tab at introvertdatingsuccess.com. All right. Also, be sure to check out my buddy Nan Juan's new album, No Girls for You, which is based on the book that I wrote many, many years ago about how not to get women. It's a hilarious album, and the first song from that, called Tongue Tied, is out right now. The music video will be coming out in a couple weeks, so stay tuned for that, all right? That's all I got, guys. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I will catch you guys on the next show. I'm out. Peace.
When I see a hot girl, my tongue gets twirled. I don't know what I'll say. And the next thing I know, my chance